His second wife, whose name was Satyabhama, was a very proud woman. She believed she was the most beautiful. She believed she's the richest because her father was an extremely rich man and all the wealth and jewels that she wanted, she had. So, vanity was one of her problems. So she decided that she wanted to display to everybody how much she loves Krishna. So on his birthday, she decided that she will weigh him against gold, put him in a balance, and she will weigh him with gold, whatever is weight in gold, and she will distribute that gold to the people to prove to the town how much she loves him. Krishna saw her vanity. He went and sat in the… this is called Tulabara. This is something that happens in temples. People weigh themselves against, butter, ghee or some other… maybe against rice and distribute that rice to people. Your own weight, you give it as charity. Whatever you can afford, you can give rice or salt or grams or gold or whatever you can afford in your own weight, you give it away, that's part of the tradition. So she set up a tulabara for him and she said, I will give away his weight in gold. So common people are impressed. But the blues won't be impressed by these things. So he went and sat in the balance. She knew approximately what's his weight and she had that much gold ready. She put that gold and the balance did not move a little bit. Earlier, when he was a child, this happened. A certain demon came and tried to carry him away. So what he did was, he became extremely heavy, so heavy, he became tons of weight and the demon just collapsed with Krishna on top of him and he died, got crushed. In yoga, in the Kriya Yoga, there is a way where a yogi can increase or decrease his weight. There are many stories about yogis who became as heavy as a mountain. So, he increased his weight and sat in the tulabara. She put all the gold that she thought would balance, it didn't happen. Then people are watching. She asked her servants to bring all the jewelry she had one by one she put, hoping it'll work. She put everything, whatever she wore, she put everything. It didn't move. Then she started weeping, because it was a shame. A whole town is gathered there for this ritual where she's supposed to give Krishna's weight in gold to people, but she doesn't have enough gold. Somebody who was always so proud of her fortune and richness, she didn't have enough gold. Then she didn't know what to do. Out of her desperation, a person that she was always little jealous of and had trouble with was Rukmini. She looked at Rukmini and said, Akka, that means sister, what shall I do? Because this shame is not just for me, this is for me, you and everybody, what to do? So Rukmini looked at the situation and she just went and… you see the plant outside just in front of Krishna there, that's called the tulasi plant. She went there, took 3 leaves from the tulasi plant and just put it on the balance. Krishna just went up. So, Rukmini's love was celebrated in many ways because not for a moment did she waver. Because of Krishna, she faced various kinds of situations that she would have never faced as a princess. She would have lived a comfortable life if she had married any other man. any other prince or king. But being married to Krishna, she went through many upheavals that a princess is not supposed to go through. But not for one moment did she falter. She just continued, steadily, constantly maintained her madness for the blue. So Krishna valued this very much and always gave her that status. And even in another situation where he was risking his life to save a sinking ship, at that time also, he told people and went, if something happens to me and if I don't come back, she must be regarded as a goddess. You must build a temple for her because she is worthy of that. Because in these traditions, or almost everywhere in the world except in a few places, the earth has been considered as the mother. I think only in very few places the earth is considered as father. In most parts of the world, the earth is given a feminine quality to it. Because we are talking about Krishna's woman, where whether it was his wife or the gopis or any woman that he met, in his own words, he said, the moment I meet a woman, I build an altar around her. I build an altar around her. Whether she becomes my mother or my sister or my lover or my wife is left to her. But as far as I'm concerned, I build an altar around her. It's for her how she handles her fires. So, because he built an altar around every woman that he met. Here there's a little dance piece about celebrating the feminine as earth, as the Mother Earth.
जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी
जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी
तस्माद्विद्वान् जन्मभुवं मातरं पालयेत् सदा जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी
जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी
तस्माद्विद्वान् जन्मभुवं मातरं पालयेत् सदा
ಭೂದೇವಿಯ ಮುಕುಟದ ನವಮಣಿಯೇ.
Shaibya was another woman who played a very important role in Krishna's life. Of course, Radhe was always there in the background, though she was not physically there. She was very much a part of his life in everything. But Shaibya, I think, is interesting because Shaibya hated Krishna. She wanted to kill him. Any number of times, she approached him with a knife hidden in the folds of her sari, just waiting for an opportunity to stab him. Shaibya was the niece of Srigala Vasudeva, the king of Karavirapura. Srigala Vasudeva was a pompous man, stupidly pompous. Because probably somebody, to play a joke upon him, they told him, "You're God himself, you're really the Lord, you're the Vasudeva," because he has the same second name as Krishna. You are the Vasudeva that the prophecies have talked about. So he started believing he's really the God. Because there was no other quality in him to make him divine, he started dressing like the calendar gods. You know, there are such people. Do you know them? In India there are people like that who dress up like Shiva, tiger skin and… You've not seen them? In Himalayas you must have seen some. So Srigala Vasudeva was that kind of man. He dressed up like God, or whatever people believe God is dressed up like. And because the sages and seers and the learned men in the country did not approve of this, he caught hold of all of them. He closed down all the ashrams where the sages and seers lived and put them all in dungeons and prisons. And he announced to everybody, "I am the God, here I am, Vasudeva." You know, yesterday that boy was so cute. You saw that one? So, Srigala Vasudeva sat like that, with a conch in his hand and everything, full works. Shaibya happened to be his niece, and she got right from her childhood brainwashed to believe that her uncle is really God. She is a spirited woman, dark and exquisitely beautiful. A very spirited person, so when she gave herself totally to her uncle, really believing he's God. So anybody who said anything against his godhood would just disappear. Of course, into the lap of God. So he was living like this, and because Srigala Vasudeva happened to be a Yadava, that is the same community and tribe as Krishna, when Krishna had to escape from Mathura, people told him, "Go to Srigala Vasudeva, he'll give you refuge." But on the way when he was going, he happened to meet Parashurama, the great sage, the warrior sage. Parashurama said, "Srigala Vasudeva is a pompous man. He has no sense in his head. He may just sell you off for any reason. And for that matter, Any king may sell you off for any reason. Kings, rulers of nations, they are not reliable. They're only thinking what is advantageous to them. They may just sell you and have you dead. So don't go there. And he took them to the Gomantak, where the Garuda tribe lived, and the Garuda tribe served Krishna till the end of his life. That crippled boy who was restored his walking ability or Krishna restored his legs into a normal stage. This boy, Vainteya, stood by Krishna till his last breath. So at that time, Krishna did not go to Karavirapura, but later on he went because Srigala Vasudeva was making an alliance with Jarasandha, the tyrant emperor who had imperial ambitions of conquering everybody brutally. So, when Krishna arrived and sent a messenger saying he has come and he wishes to talk to him, the pompous fool said, how dare he comes here? I am the god, is he coming to claim his godhood? He was just not here, he was airy man. But somehow, Shaibya, a very spirited and sensible girl, was trapped in this thing that she really believed that he is God and she worshipped him. And to enhance his power, she was the brain in many ways. So when Krishna sent a messenger, Srigala Vasudeva, discarding the message, just imprisoned the messenger and he said, I am going to go and teach him a lesson. And he got into his fanciful chariot with 4 wheels. Generally, the battle chariots always had 2 wheels and they're small and they're maneuverable. They're not made for comfort, they're made for speed and dexterity. But Srigala Vasudeva has a huge 4-wheeled golden chariot in which he expects to fight, because he had never fought a battle in his life. So he got into his 4-wheeled golden chariot which was too heavy, which could only go around in the town showing off his godhood. He took this and charged outside his fort. Where is that Krishna? I'm going to put him to an end. He believed he had divine powers and it would come to him when he needed it. He went out. Krishna saw Srigala coming and he thought, because his messenger has come, he himself has come to welcome him or meet him, so Krishna started coming towards him in his chariot. Srigala just put arrows to his bow and started shooting. There was no danger because the man couldn't shoot straight. His arrows were flying all over. Krishna was trying to indicate to him, let's talk, there is nothing to fight here. What is there to fight? I have not come for your kingdom. I have just come to talk to you about the wrong alliances that you're making. But the man went on shooting and they were coming closer. So Krishna made his chariot race towards him and with his horses, he just dashed against Srigala's horses and it went out of control. He spun out of control this 4-wheeled big chariot and again they turned around when they came. Krishna said, don't, but the man shot. So the arrow came and knocked off Krishna's diadem. He didn't like it. He fancied these things, this peacock feather and all this. He doesn't mind people abusing him or even harming his body, but he doesn't like somebody touching these things. So, he being an expert with his discus, he just let out his discus and Srigala was just dismembered in a moment. And people who believed he is God were just broken. They couldn't believe a god being dismembered like this without any effort, without much fanfare, just one throw of the discus, he was done. Then Krishna came into the town and people thought he's killed the king, so he's going to claim the kingdom. But instead of that, he established Srigala's son Sahadeva as the king. He stayed there for a while, made sure the young boy got hold of the kingdom. In the meantime, Shaiva had enough time to express her hatred and her intention of putting an end to him. Krishna was very amused by her fire. Swetaketu, a close friend of Krishna, who studied with him when he was with his guru Sandipani, was the teacher of martial arts in Srigala Vasudeva's kingdom. Swetaketu was madly in love with Shaiva, but she was such a fiery woman, he never dared to express it to her. He was afraid how she will go at it. And now Uddhava, his close aide and assistant who was with him all the time, Uddhava looked at Shaiva and he fell in love with her. He went mad about her. Uddhava wouldn't eat nor sleep because one thing is, he's in love with this woman, he want to abduct her and take her, as it is the right of a Kshatriya man to do it. It's a chivalrous thing for him to steal his bride and go. But he knows that his friend, his close friend is in love with this woman. So he is struggling within himself. He wants the woman, but he doesn't want to hurt his friend. So, it came to Krishna's notice. Krishna was thoroughly enjoying the whole drama that was going on between Swetaketu and Uddhava and Shaibya's hatred for him, her murderous intent, and these two men eating their hearts out. He thoroughly enjoyed and fueled it, just enjoying the whole fun. Then Uddhava came and poured his heart out. You are just having fun, but I'm just dying, I want to kill myself because this longing for this woman is so strong. I don't know what I will do next. But I know my close friend, my brother, is in love with this woman. I don't want to take away his life. What shall I do? The only way is to end my life. I cannot live with this, nor can I forget this woman. Then Krishna said, shall I tell you what I do with women? Uddhava was very eager, please tell me. That is when he came out and told Uddhava, any woman I see, any woman who matters to me in some way, first thing is I build an altar for her. If she is a raging fire, it is one way. If she falls into another mode, she is another way. So she could become my mother, she could become my sister, she could become my wife, she could become my lover, she could become anything, it's her choice. But as far as I'm concerned, I will build an altar of love for her. What she becomes to me, I leave it to her. You also do that. You build an altar for Shaibya. Let Swetaketu also build an altar for Shaibya. Another 1,000 men build altar for her. But what she becomes is left to her. In what way she wants to relate to you, you leave it to her. Uddhava said, oh, that is very hard, and if I do that, I may not get her. So Krishna said, that is the problem with you. You want to get her. She's not a thing. She's not something that you can possess. If you possess her like that, forcefully if you take her, maybe you can take her body, you will never know the joy of being with another being. You will miss the whole point. So you are just treating her as a wayside fire to warm yourself for a few days. That is adharma, that is unrighteousness. This is not the way. You're standing next to me, you are my aid in establishing this dharma. Let it percolate into every aspect of your life. It is not about talking dharma to other kings and we doing what we want with our lives. Let dharma come into our life. I have told Shvetaketu also the same thing, to build an altar for her and wait. Let's see which way she goes. Once you have built an altar for her, she is your sacred fire. She will always warm you in some way. Because she is precious to you, in some way she will be beautiful to you, in some way she will be nice to you. Oh, this is so hard what you are saying. Uddhava said, the solutions that you give are so hard, it takes life. So Krishna said, yes, it is hard. To live by dharma is hard. It is not easy life, but it's a fulfilling life. It is very, very fulfilling to live like this. I never said it is easy. And above all, if you live like this, you can have many fires going in your life. Any number of fires going in your life, which will keep you warm always in different dimensions. You can enjoy life in all dimensions. If you try to possess her, you will know only the physicality of her and nothing else. So Uddhava, why do you have to give such hard solutions? He wants an easy solution. Okay, pick her up and go. That's the solution he wants. Then slowly talking to Uddhava through the night, slowly he turned Uddhava around and Uddhava stood up and made a promise. Yes, I will wait. Uddhava wanted to take sannyas to avoid Shaibya. He said, I will go to Badri. You know Badrinath, some of you went and came. He said, I am going to the Himalayas. I can't take this woman off my mind. And I don't want to hurt my friend. So I will go away. I don't want this anything. I don't want this materialistic life. I don't want to ever look at another woman. I am going away. So Krishna said, not everybody can stay away from a woman and still live a vigorous life. If you can stay away from woman and live very vigorously, then it's very wonderful. There's nothing better than that. But most people, if they stay away from the opposite, they will become dead when they're alive. They only manage to avoid life. They will never manage to live life. If one can live life totally without the opposite, he's an established yogi, he is a true brahmacharyan. But if one stays away from the woman and is unable to live his life, he avoids life, he is no good, he has missed both the worlds. So you, if you go to Badri, Shaibya will not fall off your mind. She will come there too, to haunt you day and night. You must handle it here, no point running away. So he slowly turned him around and Uddhava took a vow that I will keep away from her, I will build her altar and wait. Whatever she wishes, let it happen. And I will maintain a dear and close relationship with Shvetaketu. Right now, in my passion for this woman, I want to stick a knife into my friend. I will see that I maintain a loving and dear relationship with my friend and stay away from this woman, but I will wait. So Shaibya, because of her close association with her uncle, the pompous fool Srigala Vasudeva, and little bit drunk with power of being close to the king, not only the king, the god himself, he and Shaibya together had treated Padmavati, the actual queen, very, very badly for a few years. Now that Srigala was dead and his son Sahadeva had become the king, Padmavati regained her power. So, Krishna saw that if you leave Shaibya here, she is going to get it. She is going to really have a bad time because Padmavati is going to take it out on her, all the vengeance that she has. So he advised Shaibya, you go with me to Mathura as my sister. You lost your parents very young. My mother, Devaki, and my father, Vasudeva, I will convince them they must be your true parents. So you go with me. So Shaibya, if Krishna spoke to her, she was a torrent of abuse. She called him a fake, a fraud, a murderer, and everything possible. Every time she opened her mouth, she was a torrent of abuse. Krishna smiled and continued to taunt her and talk to her. The more coolly he approached her, the more fiery she became, the more uncontrollable she became. She went into peaks of anger and depths of depression. Anger and crying, anger and crying. She was constantly going through this because she had built her life around this Srigala, that he is the king, God himself, and the God is dead. She just doesn't know what to do with her life. And she knows that she has no future in Karivarapura. Her life is under threat, no place to go. Been a princess all her life, now nowhere to go, so she's going through this. So Krishna took her along. All along the way, she gave him the choicest of words. Every opportunity she got, she abused him in every possible way. People around him felt that he is taking too much of this nonsense. This woman, the way she's spewing venom on Krishna, people around him started resenting it. What right does she have to speak like this, endlessly? Okay, once, twice, but she's continuously going on. But Krishna was not perturbed for a moment. He told people, I have taken her as my sister, whatever she does, she's my kid sister. It's okay what she does, till I hand over to her parents, who are mine. Till then, you don't bother. And he took her there and handed over to Devaki, his mother, and said she must be treated as the daughter of the house because she has nobody and she's a wonderful girl. Right now, she hates the world, that's the only problem. Otherwise, this is really a wonderful girl. So Shaibya and Rukmini met. Rukmini is all love for Krishna, madly in love. Shaibya is all hate, but they're friends. Shaibya and Trivakra, the woman who was a cripple, who became all right because of Krishna's touch, they also met in the same palace. She hated Shaibya because of the abuse that she every day chants for Krishna. Many incidents happened where people were absolutely exasperated with this girl. So people started thinking, it looks like Krishna is too, attracted to this dark beauty. She was of incredible beauty. That's why he's taking all this shit from her. Endlessly she is pouring it out on him. Then Rukmini was struggling with her friendship with Shaibya and her jealousy about the access that she has to Krishna, and whole complex relationships were going on. One day, Devaki had a little golden image of Krishna, of child Krishna, which she always worshipped. So she was worshipping this golden image of Krishna that she has which she has done ever since she did not see her son. He was born in the prison and taken away. For 16 years, she did not see her child. So the only thing that sustained her was this golden image of a baby, which she worshipped as God and kept it with her. This was most dear to her. Still she is worshipping the infant image of Krishna. Now Krishna has come back as a grown-up man, still she is worshipping this. So Shaibya came and very recklessly said, "What are you worshipping? Whose image is that?" Devaki said, "This is my God." "Who is your God?" she asked. People around in the palace were shocked, the way with the disregard she was asking this question. Devaki patiently explained that, this is Krishna, he is my Lord. Why he is a grown-up man, why do you have a baby's image? So Devaki said, I held Krishna in my hands as a baby just for a few moments and I gave him away for his safety. Ever since then, it is this image which has kept me sane and alive. Without this, I wouldn't have remained alive. So I still worship that. So Shaibya laughed and dismissed all this nonsense, he being God. It went to Krishna's notice. Next day Shaibya was in the garden, Krishna came and Trivakra carried a box, a silver box. Krishna said, "I have a gift for you, Shaibya." Shaibya said, "Also one more of your fraud games? Why gifts for me? What are you expecting from me?" "Nothing, I just want to gift you something that you will appreciate." So she snatched the box and wants to see what the hell it is. There was a small golden image of Srigala Vasudeva, the pompous fool that she was worshipping. And she said, and Krishna said, "It doesn't matter who he was. In your heart you enshrined him. Why don't you use this golden image and worship him? Maybe it'll bring peace to you, love in your heart instead of hatred like this." So Shaibya said, "You and your bloody tricks, you murderer, you killed him, and now you give me a toy to worship? You killed my God, you murdered him, now you give me a toy and say worship him. So you're doing all this because you want me to forgive you? I will not forgive you. I will not forgive you, I will not forgive you." So Krishna said, "It is okay, you don't have to forgive me. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I have done my dharma. You do your dharma, you love the man, why don't you worship him? You saw him as God, so why don't you offer your worship to him? I'm just giving you an image. You don't like me, it doesn't matter. But what has this image done to you? You loved this man, you enshrined this man, you worship him." She grabbed the image and pressed it to her eyes because it's very dear to her. And she said, "Yes, I'm going to worship. Just to remind me every day that you are the murderer and I will never forgive you. Just to remind me of that I should never ever forgive you, every day I will worship this image." Krishna said, "It doesn't matter, you worship the image." She said, "Okay." Then he gave another package and said, "I have one more gift for you." She asked, "What is it?" He said, "I brought some ornaments for you so that when you offer the worship, you could be properly dressed. After all, you're reaching out to your God, should you not be dressed properly? So here are some clothes and some ornaments." She took the ornaments and flung them in his face. He went about picking up the ornaments that were on the floor. Trivakra, who was there, flew into your rage. She said, "You impertinent girl, enough is enough. Just because he's good to you, you're going too far. How dare you flung these things into his face?" Krishna said, "Trivakra, you relax. What's your problem? It's between me and her." So Trivakra said, "If I was Krishna, today I would have struck you down, I would have taught you a lesson." So Krishna said, "If you were Krishna, there would be no Trivakra. Only because I am Krishna, there is a Trivakra." And this continued, and slowly this girl who was burning with hatred for him slowly turned around and loved him so deeply and stood by him always, never intending to marry him or expecting anything out of him, just being there to serve him. That when a situation came, when his life was at risk and he thought he may not come back because of a dangerous endeavor that he was taking, he told Uddhava, he gave his discus, which was his most precious possession, because he made this with his own hand on Gomantak hill and had it empowered with Parashurama's blessings. This was his most powerful weapon. So he told Uddhava, "If I don't come back, this discus, this Sudarshana chakra should go to Shaibya." That was the highest honor for her. So when Rukmini came to know about this, that he gave Sudarshana chakra to Shaibya, not to her, she suddenly realized the shortcomings with which she was living. Too thrilled about she being his first wife and forgetting so many things that Shaibya was. And after that incident, Rukmini insisted that Krishna must marry Shaibya, and she made sure that he took her as his wife. So this was another woman in Krishna's life who, with his blue magic, moved from absolute hatred to a totally dedicated love affair in her life. She just